Good afternoon. Today is the 6th of August, and as you can hear behind me there is boat building going on because we are down at Barron's Classic Car Auctions at Marchmont, Southampton, which is just next to the docks. I hope that doesn't mar your enjoyment of this video. Looking at the August sale for Barron's Classic Car Auctions. As usual, there might be times when I get things wrong, where I fall over, if I get interrupted by wind noise and the sound of the boat building. I'm afraid that's just the way it goes on this channel. We'll start off with the first lot. I'm going through actually where they're listed on the website. The sale is on the 10th of this month, although I won't be able to attend it. This is a 1980 Triumph TR7. It's not only a TR7, it's an automatic TR7. Unfortunately, this car's locked, so I can't show you inside very well, but I haven't seen one of these in a while. Now, this is actually no reserve on this car, and I can see various bits on here like the paintwork and things like that quite obviously, even on camera, is not the best I've ever seen. It doesn't look particularly rusty or anything like that, it's just not the best. I mean, we've got little bubbles here. The sill down here is going to need some attention, I think. It's got the gingham interior. There we go. The interiors on the TR7 did change a few times during the production life of the car. This is actually one of the last of the Canley built cars. It's not a Solihull built car, it's a Canley built car. And the way you can tell that, I learnt this from someone who is in the TR7 world, is the boot lock. As you can see, it's that shape. The Solihull built cars are an entirely round button. So that's interesting. Something else that's actually from the British Leyland days that's here, and this is something I'm actually quite fond of. I have driven one of these. This is a 1977 Princess 2200 HLS. It's actually got a reserve of £3,000 to £4,000. This is a Reynard, this colour. I think the one I drove, which is in 2022, which was an HLS rather than an HL, was also this colour. The HL doesn't have a full vinyl roof. This is a Princess 1 rather than a Princess 2, so it's a bit different from the one I drove, but overall it is kind of similar. These are actually, to the right sort of person, quite desirable cars. Actually, this looks really good. It's got a full sort of brown interior as well, in really, really nice condition. Actually, I think that the right person wanted one of these, it would be worth a little bit more than £3,000 to £4,000, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, just amazing sort of Harris Mann wedge shaped. This is one of the highest spec models, so it's got the rectangular headlamps. The lesser ones had the quad headlamps, round ones. I quite like Princesses and Ambassadors. I know they get rather a reputation, but I quite like them. Anyway, let's not to be too nostalgic about things, and let's move on to the next lot. So, first of two Jaguar Mark II. This is a 59. There's also another one there. We'll look at this one first, though. It's a 3.8, very early one. We have seen this before, viewers. Estimate this time £20,000 to £30,000. At this auction house, you do get 2 free re-entries if your car didn't sell the first time round. You might need to adjust to reserve, of course. So, open the TR7 wasn't. This one is, I think. Yep. There we go. Look at that. Right-hand handbrake. I think that's the original Moss 4-speed gearbox. Nice slab of wood on the dash. Green leather interior. I quite like it. I mean, I can't afford anything like this, but I mean, I quite like it. I think at the moment, in general, as I understand it, classic car prices are down at the moment. Summer should be the peak of the year, and it isn't necessarily at the moment. But yeah, it's quite nice. Just don't get in one of those and expect not to be pushed off a cliff in one of those old ITC series from the 60s and 70s. So I'm skipping through quite a lot of lots. We're down to 106. Some of them are bikes. I don't know anything about bikes, so that's why we're not doing them. But this is an old friend who's a thumbnail from last month's sale. A 1937 Austin 7 Olster boat tail replica. It's also not just any replica. It looks very unusual, this. It's rather a sort of matter of taste, is whether you like this kind of thing or you don't. I don't know about this. My lady wife took a look at this and she said that looks great, but you know, because I know that this is just incorrect looking, and maybe it's just me, but I'm not sure this is to my taste exactly, but somebody will probably like this. It's been improved a bit. It's got some more modern parts in it. The dash, for example, that gear knob, I think, is off like a Mini or Metro, isn't it? I don't know what that steering wheel was, a Momo steering wheel. What car was that off? I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, this might be the sort of thing that you're into. It might not be, but it's estimated at £5,000 to £6,000. So something altogether different here. This is an E36 BMW 320i Cabriolet from 2005, £3,000 to £4,000, 103,000 miles, metallic grey with black interior. Now, I'm the sort of person that prefers their cars with lighter coloured interiors. We'll come across the interior, I'm sure, that I very much like in a moment. But a lot of people prefer cars, you know, in dark, subtle colours like this with the black interior. And yeah, this is good. It looks like a very nice one, this, to be honest. E46s are very nice to drive, particularly got a manual gearbox in this one, so that's even more fun, isn't it? But yeah, that is quite nice. A little bit more money is this 1964 Ford Falcon Sprint 260 Convertible from 1964, imported from Poland. I think you have seen this before, viewers. It's not a Concord example or anything like that. There are things to do. There's some bits missing, like this trim down there is missing. Interior could do with, you know, redoing and things, but it depends how you want to take a car like this. I mean, you could take this to shows and things, I'm sure, and it would be something that stands out and amongst everything else. Massive car, isn't it? I mean, makes this Princess look really small. But yes, that is £7,000 to £10,000. Something that I've not seen, I think, ever before is a Humber Snipe, not a Super Snipe, a Snipe. I've got to go right the way back here to actually film this. It's a big old car, this, from 1934. It's been in storage for a while. It's going to need recommissioning. But I suppose you get a lot of value for money in terms of the size of it. £6,000 to £7,000. It's hard to estimate a car, though, isn't it? See if it's open. Yeah, it is. Suicide doors on the front, of course. Very nice trimmed interior. Smells good. You can see, obviously, these were designed for a certain type of person, where there's a little sort of thing to grab onto when you were chauffeured in the back for these. Humbers of many, many years with a choice of sort of government officials and mayors and things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to need some work. I'm going to have to sort of walk around the other side in a slightly careful way because it's so big, this car. But yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's 90 years old, that car. So the standard 12 that was there has been moved out. I did promise earlier on we'd have something of an interior that is more to my liking, and on this 1960 Jaguar Mark II, yes, a beige leather interior with a wooden dashboard, and it smells amazing. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers. Unlike the sort of old English white car, this red one has been modified. It was originally a 2.4 model. It's now been fitted with a 3.4 litre engine, and we've got some Cooper modifications apparently. 18 to 22,000, so a little bit less than the other one, but I prefer this one for obvious reasons. Nice shiny engine as well. And then a 1998 Mercedes-Benz R129 SL320 in a very, very nice, it's called blue black apparently, this colour. It looks green to me, but it's called blue black, and it says a tan leather interior. I'm going to say a beige leather interior, because it will make me feel better. And we've got wood and climate control and electric seats and cruise control and all kinds of other delights. This is a very, very nice car indeed. It's not perfect or anything. We see some stone chipping on the bonnet and things like that, but yeah, it's got the six-cylinder engine, I think, the 320, and it's only estimated at £5,000 to £6,500. Very, very nice indeed. Unfortunately, this 2005 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 FQ, and FQ does stand actually what you think it stands for, is becoming an old friend because it's been here for a while. Estimate this time is £90,000 to £22,000. It's done 71,500 miles. It's actually really good condition, this. It's Got some stone chips on the bonnet, as you can, I don't think you can see it on there, but it has got some. But it's actually really standard, this. Very few modifications, just a few light ones. See if it's open. There we go, rally art mats and everything. Yeah, I mean these are going up in value. I don't know if they still are because of the general drop in classic car prices, but I mean, having driven an Evolution 10, they are pretty quick and they're pretty nice. But yeah, I mean it may be a lot of money for some people, but that's sort of the way things are going these days. Right, it's hard to get down beside of this, but this is a 1995 Peugeot Boxer Holdsworth camper van. You might think, why are you even featuring this? Because you can't talk about it. Well, I can, because it has a 2-litre petrol engine. I don't know if that personal plate comes with it or not. I'm going to stand right back for this. Estimate is £3,500 to £4,500. See if we can get inside this side, because we've got a bit more room. Yeah, camper vans are really expensive now. Perhaps this one with its squeaky door handle and typical 90s interior. Look at this. Look at the colour of this. Wow. Yeah, perhaps this is going to be a bit cheaper option. Yeah, but this is I think a Fiat ignition switch. Obviously, they were designed by, I think it's Seville, they used to call these, which is a partnership between Peugeot, Citroën and Fiat well before Stellantis even existed. So we've got some Fiat bits in there. But yeah, it's not my kind of thing particularly, but and we'll come and see that later on. Maybe one of you really wants a sort of cheap camper van that's alright. Petrol one. Now this is more like it views. Look at this, a 1987 Voxal Cavalier Mark II 1.8 Cabrio. Also known as a convertible, seems to be both things in here. This has the first facelift on it. The second facelift also occurred in 1987, so maybe it's just before that happened. I think these were only made for a couple of years. They weren't common. I think the specification was, in this country, was just called 1.8 injection convertible. Still got windy windows in here and that amazing sort of cliff-face dashboard that the Mark II Cavaliers had. I've only ever driven a 83 1.6L automatic Cavalier Mark II. This one looks a lot more fun than that. Actually, any Cavalier Mark II is quite nice to drive, actually, surprisingly so for the era. But this would be even more fun, wouldn't it? Estimate on this is really low. It's like £1,800 to £2,500, which I can't really believe. It's only had 2 owners. I mean, I don't know if there's something wrong with it or something, but a rare car like this, it's only worth about £2,000. Seems to me to be perhaps a bit of a bargain, views, but it could just be, you know, my own kind of feelings. So, 1966 Sunbeam Rapier. This will be one of the last ones with a 1275cc engine. I have recently driven a 1965 Hillman Super Minx, which was kind of similar to this underneath, I think. Obviously more related to the Aldax Minx, this one, than the Super Minx. Estimate this is £7,000 to £9,000, restored many years ago. I think it was a private plate, but I think we've cut a Southampton plate from the year I put back on. Hang on a second, why is it a 64 plate and a 66 car? It's definitely a 66 with a 1275cc engine, but yeah, we've got some things there to show the awards it's won. Got some seat belts, that's good. Look at all these dials you get and the typical sort of early to mid 60s steering wheel. I quite like this. I mean, Roots cars are fantastic. They were a really, really good company. And this looks to be okay, actually. It's hard to value something like this. I don't know what they're really worth, but that does look rather enjoyable. 1973 Chevy Corvette V8 Stingray Convertible. There were 2 Corvettes here, weren't there, last month? There's only the one here now. This is the one that I prefer. 19 to £22,000 with a beige, I presume it's a vinyl interior. Yeah, again, this isn't really my sort of thing, but I do appreciate it for what it is, and we have got some sort of funny stuff going on with fiberglass in here, as it happens with age. You can't really see it on camera, but it's there. But yeah, that looks very, very purposeful indeed. So another old friend. This has been here for you know, couple of months now, this Dormobile. It's a Bedford CA from '66. The plate on the rear is the original plate. There is one that's been used for sort of filming and stuff. It's around. We'll see if it's still on there, but that's the original plate on the back. Let's take a look. Actually, this time it's not locked. We can open it up, or is it? Ooh, that's not moving. Just put a look through there. There's the column change. Thank an autofocus. There we go. And that's your air conditioning, that fan there. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not my sort of thing. It's going to need some work, this, isn't it? It's going to need some work. You can see that the attempts already to tidy it up there. Estimate this time is £7,000 to £8,000. There's the filming plate that it's been on certain things. Again, I'm not sure it's my sort of thing particularly, this, but I appreciate the history of it. Third thing today from British Leyland is this 1979 minivan. Now, this originally would have had a Clubman front end on it. You can tell that by the fact that the doors are Mark III mini doors. Or was it like a Mark IV? I can't remember. Anyway, so this would have had a Clubman front end originally. It's been changed for an original minivan front end, which, like on this one, they didn't have anything other than a painted grille all the way until 1982, and they stopped making the minivan. And this would have had different doors on it if it had been an actual round light minivan, but it doesn't matter particularly. It's not that expensive actually, this. It's £7,500 to £8,500, regardless of whether it's actually like an original Clubman specification or not. We look inside and see the classic steering wheel of the era with what became the Austin Rover logo, but it's too early for Austin Rover at the moment. And then the sort of rear section of it. Either you really like this kind of thing, and I've got a friend of mine who's into classic minis, so he's quite fond of these, or you just find them a bit cramped and uncomfortable, which is sort of my experience of minis, but that is very much up to what you prefer. Lot number 125, a 1954 Bedford A-Type. It's been imported from Australia in 2021. Sort of rattler going on here, isn't there? Estimate £7,000 to £8,000, similar to the minivan. So what is it that somebody prefers? I don't really know. Is it open? No, it's locked. That's a shame. Interesting sort of wheels on this. It looks very American to me. I know it's not. I know it's an Australian source car or van truck originally, but yeah, it looks sort of aggressive, wasn't it? 1986 Escort 55 van, 60,000 miles. Now, this has been here for a couple of months now. One thing I would say is that cosmetically this van's not perfect at all. They are quite rare, these. Most of the Escorts you see for Mark IVs are things like a gear or an X-Offer, maybe an RS Turbo. You don't see the vans very much. It's probably why they're a bit more valuable. But there are things on here that are going to have to be addressed by the next person, I think. It's not complete terminal or anything like that, but it's not a concourse thing this at all. It has only got 60,000 miles on it, and it is, in the specification, sort of amazingly kind of basic and sort of wonderful. But I mean, someone is going to have to sort of address certain things on it, like this, quite soon. Estimate on this at the moment is £5,500 to £6,500. So something for under £5,000 is this 1958 Jaguar Mark X. Sorry, 9, sorry, not 10. Confused there. Mark 9, obviously Mark X followed this. It's a big old thing, this. It's one of the last of this sort of big 50s Jaguar saloons. Apparently they did get it running, but it didn't run for very long. Red leather interior, again, I think this is Old English white, this colour. Yeah, it's not cosmetically perfect or anything, you can see just straight away. It's going to need some work. But yeah, I mean, classic car seats, the shows and things like that, that would be very welcome. Whoever can get it sort of into the right sort of shape again. I prefer later Jaguars to this, but some of you might like this kind of huge and kind of very imperious looking 50s car. Now this is more like it, viewers. A 1994 Jaguar J40 XJ12 Sport Automatic. Look at this colour. Personally, this car's been low and I'm not so fond of that, but I am very fond of certain other things about it. Particularly because we have a beige leather interior with wooden piping. We've got these little kind of inserts on the door cards. It is real wood, I think, on these. Electric seats with the piping. We've got the automatic gearbox. I think is it a 5-speed or 4 overdrive in one of these. Sport modes and things. It just is amazing. I love XJ40s anyway, but this is one of the very last of them. They finished production in 1994. Love the rear lights. Love this, even this kind of early 90s little sport badge, which is so kind of typical of the era. Absolutely fantastic. Do we get cruise control in here? We've got a trip computer. Yes, we do. We have got cruise control. This is the sort of specification I like, viewers. Personally, I think I prefer a Sovereign or a Gold, but you know, Mr. Columbo, rubbish mechanic, who is into these Jaguars, he think that was fantastic. I'm sure you do too. Then we've got a very rare 1960 Peugeot 403, as in Columbo 403, where his was a cabriolet. Left-hand drive, this one estimate £7,000 to £8,000. The Jaguar was £7,000 to £9,000. I think I know what I'd prefer, but if you're into this sort of quirky commercials, then you know, this might be suitable for you. Very old-fashioned looking thing, designed of course in the 50s, the 403, with a bench seat and column change, which you know, it's very sort of quaint. It's not particularly what I'm into, but you know, some of you will think that is absolutely fantastic. I prefer this Saab 900 16-valve turbo convertible, 1992. Current owner since 2007. What's been done to it? Alternator, brake master, cylinder, etc. Classic colour combination for these. Sort of grey or black with a black leather interior. Steering wheel has been changed, but there we go. One thing I would say, the pedals on these manual right-hand drive original generation 900s are quite offset. It's something to get used to. The automatics aren't quite as bad, but for some reason the manuals are. I have driven one of these. It was a 1983 900 GL saloon, so the basic of the basic ones in the beige of the beige interior. This is a bit of a different prospect, but yeah, I quite like that view actually. Might be a coupe for me though. 1955 Land Rover Series 1. I think this would be an 86-inch wheelbase one. Let's take a look. 7-seat configuration. There's the engine. Can we get in? Oh, yes, there we go. Be careful with your edge of your fingers on there. Yeah, 7 seats because you're all friendly with everybody else. Middle passenger doesn't really get the driver kind of fiddling around in sensitive areas, don't you? The gear levers there and the handbrakes there, and there are the two transmission levers. Amazing, like, you know, this configuration was used it also right up to the Series 3 lightweights. Yeah, but it's not, I'd say, something that I would particularly need. Like the way that shuts. Looks like a pretty good example. It's not perfect or anything, but looks like a lot of fun if you're into that kind of thing. £13,000 to £16,000. Standard 12's just manoeuvring back there, viewers, but we will continue with what we're doing. Lot number 134, a 1991 Mercedes-Benz C230. This is the C124 shape. Estimate £2,500 to £3,500. Again, it looks pretty good for that money. I can't see any like massive obvious rust or anything on this. I think there are some things to do, but there we go. We've even got a beige leather interior with wood, so it obviously meets with my approval. I've driven one of these. I've driven 93 with the 2.2 engine as opposed to the 2.3. But yeah, they're nice, these. Obviously got to sort that rear window out with the delamination. But there's obviously money in that budget to do that. Yeah, fabulous. This has just been inserted into the auction, and gentleman here has just been out for a test drive in it. It's a 1935 or 36 standard 12, but made in Coventry. I don't know the estimate on this yet because it's not gone on website as of yet, but we'll take a look inside. Again, suicide doors, much like the old Humber Snipe there. Bit more of a compact sort of car, quite nicely trimmed and everything. Has that beautiful old leather smell. There we go. I'll have to sort that out later. I always have problems closing these old-fashioned doors. yeah, I'm not sure what estimate is on that. Maybe sort of £7,000 to £8,000, something like that. Standard's one of these names that just disappeared, hasn't it, from the roads entirely, which is a shame. It's quite a nice looking car, actually. That. So we had an E46 earlier on, there's an E36, very, very late one. The last year they made the E36 Convertible, 1999 this one is. It's a 328i SE individual with an M3 sort of replica look about it. Velvet blue with champagne sport interior, estimate £4,500 to £5,500. Obviously, it's not a real M3, it sort of looks a bit like one. We haven't got an M. Well, we have got an M badge in it as an M3. Yeah, I mean E36s are getting more valuable. They're nice. I've never driven one actually. I've driven a lot of other BMWs, not one of these though. Very, very 90s colour, isn't it? This sort of velvet blue, it's called. Yeah, if you want an M3 but don't want to have to pay the M3 prices, then that might be a good option. 2003 R50 Mini Cooper. Liquid yellow is the name of this colour. Charcoal half leather interior. One lady owner, 47,000 miles. Estimate £2,000 to £3,000. Probably can't have a look at the interior. What if this has got like this a chili pack on it or something? Panoramic roof, that would be rare. Yeah, £2,000 to £3,000 seems pretty reasonable for one of those. I drove one years ago. It belongs to Mr. Richardson Furious Driving, who's had his for donkey's years now. Now this is something that I very much like. It's a 1993 Ford Fiesta gear. And it's got the CTX automatic gearbox. We've got the correct wheels on this. It doesn't even look too rusty. But the thing is, I've noticed more than anything else, it's done 25,000 miles, and this is estimated at £800 to £1,500. This is no budget reviews money for this car. Obviously it might go for a bit more than that, but I don't know. Let's see if we can get in. Might be open. No, it's not. You can see the transmission lever down there. I think these were, yes, steel belt CVT, like the Mark II's were. Driving lamps, I'm not too sure about that, but some people might like it. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, there might be some horrors lurking underneath, but at that sort of money, maybe that's not sort of a problem. So not everything in here is actually for sale. So that Jensen, it's not for sale at the moment, but I think everything that's listed is actually currently here, which is good because there's only a few days to the auction. Next up, we've got another Mercedes. This is a 2003 SL500. I forget the generation name of this, but it looks good. 88,000 miles. It's not quite as nice in my opinion as the R129 shape. I prefer those. But it's good as well, I suppose. Obviously a bit more modern, maybe a bit more comfortable, more things to play with. And the estimate on that is £45,000. Interesting. French registered but right-hand drive. 2001 Mercedes-Benz COK 230, the avant-garde model. I have actually had one of these on my channel. I had it in 2021. I can't remember if it was a 200 or 230 compressor, but this is a 230. It's the A208 shape, and yeah, the avant-garde spec is good. It says on the gear lever there. You've got to watch the roof on these actually, make sure that works, because it can be very complicated to fix. But this car's got no reserve on it, so what's it worth? I don't know. The last one I filmed, it had been bought by the previous owner for £500. I think it's worth a bit more than £500, this car, but I suppose we'll have to see. I didn't realise that British cars used the Night Fire red paint. Latest this was a 2008 Mini Cooper. Is this the R52 or is this a model after that? I know the R52s were made quite after the R50s and R53. I think this is a very, very late R52. Night Fire red. Not the same Night Fire reds in Rover in the 1990s, but it's similar. 60,000 miles. Estimate is £2,500 to £3,500. Again, I'm not so fond on the convertible minis. It's just not particularly me, but I can imagine some of you that would be a bit of a bargain. Right, I think that's it. Thank Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for some more incorrect information.